In the quiet heart of an old city, tucked between crooked streets and fog-soaked alleys, there stood a little shop with a wooden sign that creaked softly in the night. Most people never noticed it, but those who did always felt time move a little differently when they passed by. Inside, surrounded by gears, springs, sketches, and golden fragments of forgotten hours, worked the clockmaker. His hands, steady even in old age, moved with a precision born not of habit, but of devotion. Because clocks were never just machines to him. They were memories, moments, lives. And tonight, he worked on his most complicated creation yet. Years ago, he had lost someone. Someone who filled every room with light just by breathing. Someone whose laugh still echoed faintly in the corners of his memory. And ever since then, every tick of every clock felt like a reminder of a moment he would never get back. He wasn't trying to stop time. He wasn't trying to control it. He simply wanted one more moment. One more minute to say what he never got to say. Tonight, the air felt strange, as if the world itself sensed what he was attempting. The clocks around him began to tremble, just slightly, just enough to be felt. Then, one by one, they stopped. Complete silence filled the shop, a silence so deep it felt like the world was holding its breath. At the center of his workbench, the golden timepiece, the device he'd spent years perfecting, began to glow. Soft at first. Then brighter. Then impossibly bright. Golden threads rose from its surface, twisting gently in the air like strands of captured sunlight. The clockmaker reached out, fingers trembling with hope and terror. He touched the device, and the air split open like fabric pulled apart. A glowing tear in time opened before him. Not loud. Not violent. Just, impossibly real. A swirl of memories, moments, and hours suspended in golden light. He could see fragments of the past drifting through it. A smile. A touch. A familiar shadow he had tried for years to forget, and failed. His heart pounded. His breath caught in his chest. Every instinct told him to step back, to stay safe, to stay small. But love is louder than fear, and longing is heavier than caution. So he stepped forward. Time stretched around him like liquid gold. Light poured through him. Memories brushed against his skin like warm breezes. Then, suddenly, he was standing in a familiar street. The street from that day. The day everything changed. He could smell the same morning rain. Hear the same distant chatter. Feel that old ache in his chest return like a reopened wound. And there they were. Alive. Smiling. So heartbreakingly real. He reached out, but the moment his fingers brushed the air around them, the world flickered violently. Time rejected him. Golden threads snapped. The sky shattered into light. He stumbled backward, falling through a tunnel of collapsing minutes and unraveling hours until he crashed back into his workshop. Just like that. Gone. Silent. Still. The golden device dimmed. The glow faded. The room returned to its ordinary darkness. But he didn't feel ordinary anymore. He sat there for a long time, breathing through the ache in his chest. He knew now that he could not rewrite the past. And yet, a strange warmth lingered in his heart. Because in that brief, impossible moment, he saw them again. Not as a memory. Not as a regret. But as something real. Something alive. The world hadn't given him a second chance. But it had given him something else. Acceptance. A way to carry love forward instead of chasing it backward. He looked at the golden timepiece. Its light had faded, but a single pulse of warmth remained inside it, like a heartbeat. He picked it up gently. And as he did, a small, glowing brass key slid out from underneath the device. He didn't understand it. Not at first. But when he held it, the metal vibrated softly, humming with a faint, distant ticking. A ticking that didn't belong to any clock he'd ever made. It felt like it was searching, calling, guiding. He followed the sound out of his workshop and into the thinning fog of dawn. The empty street glowed softly under the waking sky. Every step he took made the key pulse brighter, warmer, until it led him to an alley he had never seen before. An alley that shouldn't exist. It shimmered faintly in the morning light, as if sunlight and shadow had woven it together overnight. Time was opening a path for him. At the end of the alley stood a door made entirely of golden light. Shifting hours and minutes drifted across its surface, like fireflies trapped in warm glass. The key pulsed faster. His breath trembled. He lifted the key, and the door opened with a soft, human sigh. Inside was a corridor of floating gears, spiraling time threads, and shimmering memories. Moments drifted past him like stars. Laughter. Tears. Birthdays. Goodbyes. Everything time ever held. He walked slowly, skin tingling with the impossible beauty around him. Golden threads hung in the air, vibrating gently like the strings of some celestial instrument. He reached out, and when he touched one, a memory bloomed. A childhood morning. A broken toy clock. His younger self crying softly. And behind him, the clockmaker himself, younger, peaceful, patient, guiding him with a smile. He gasped. He had forgotten this moment. But the clockmaker had not. He hadn't just been a man who repaired clocks. He was a guardian of moments, lost, forgotten, or broken. Then he saw him. The clockmaker. Young. Alive. Whole. Threads of time swirled around him as he repaired fractured memories with gentle hands. He looked peaceful, as if this was where he had truly belonged all along. For a moment, the world stood still. Then the clockmaker looked up. And their eyes met. A soft, knowing smile touched his lips. "You found the path," he said quietly. "Good." The younger version of him stepped closer, golden threads swirling around his silhouette. "Keep the key," he whispered. "Not to return here, but to remember that time isn't lost. Only waiting." Light gathered around him, lifting him gently into the web of glowing threads until he dissolved into the very heart of time. The key pulsed once more in his hand, soft, warm, alive. He turned toward the glowing door. The morning light waited on the other side. Calm. Quiet. Real. And as he stepped through, he carried not sorrow, but something far greater. A reminder that every moment matters, every memory holds meaning, and some clocks tick softly inside us forever.